Hi, what year is it? 2023? Amazing. Then I have made it just in time to warn you about the problems of global warming. I'm a time traveler from the future, and I have come to tell you that global warming is irreversible and will change our future for the worse. In today's presentation, we will be talking about, is global warming really just heating up our Earth? The economic effects of global warming, the health problems that it will give us, and the political divide it causes for our country. Well, it looks like the sea levels are rising, so let's dive right in. First, we have the heating of the earth. Many people who don't believe in global warming come with the fact and they say, well, our earth has gone through so many different changes in its lifetime, and it's forever changing. For example, we have the Ice Age. And while they aren't entirely wrong, our earth is always changing. We are just speeding up the heating process. You can see this in NASA's website on global warming. The science behind this is called the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect is where the sun, it emits heat, and naturally it would bounce off our earth and go outside of our atmosphere. But with global warming and greenhouse gases, the sun enters our atmosphere, it bounces off, but then it is stopped by CO2 and methane, which are the greenhouse gases. This causes the heat to bounce back and forth, consequently heating up our earth. A great example of this is you're sleeping and you have one blanket on. Your mom sees how warm and cozy you are, and she decides, well, let's put on another blanket. At first, you're really nice, but you start to heat up and you get really hot. You then wake up and you're absolutely drenched in sweat. This is a great example of global warming, as the first blanket is like your atmosphere, but the second blanket, it traps in the heat, and it's like the CO2 and the methane. This has been happening since around 1850, or the Industrial Revolution, and since then, our Earth has been heating up at a 0.2 degrees Celsius each decade. And while this might not seem like a lot, it has already amassed to a 1.8 degrees Celsius, and it will only increase. Next, we have the economic problems. With violent windstorms, hurricanes, and unpredictable weather, our houses will crumble as they do not have the correct infrastructure to handle what is happening to them. Next, we have our workers. With rising heat indexes, this will cause weariness and exhaustion. This will cause countries to decline into poverty. This will then disrupt our trade and our stocks. By 2090, we will have lost over 2 million work hours and over $160 million. This will disrupt our economy terribly all over the world. Next, we have our crops. With a huge population of over 8 billion people, we are already running out of fresh food. This is a terrible problem as people are not getting the correct nutrients. This has caused great inflation in our grocery stores, and people are not able to get what they need. And while you may not have seen the effects yet, you will soon see them, as terrible heat indexes, heat waves, and cold fronts are causing our crops to decline in nutrients, and sometimes they can't even be harvested. Altogether, this will cause a decline in our stocks, it will cause insurance to go up, household goods to go up, and it will cause inflation to go up heavily, disrupting our whole economy. Next, we have the health problems. Global warming affects our health in two main ways. First, we have the bugs. With the changing of the weather, bugs are able to mate faster, therefore producing more bugs. Next, we have the cardiovascular and lung health. First, with the bugs. The seasons are changing rapidly. We have spring much faster. Therefore, bugs are able to produce faster. And then we have a much longer summer. So bugs are able to produce for much longer. Therefore, we have an uptick in certain diseases such as Lyme disease and malaria, which come from mosquitoes and ticks. Next, we have the cardiovascular disease. According to healthyhearts.org, we have had an uptick in our cardiovascular and heart diseases. It's about 60% since the 2000s. Also, younger people have started getting heart diseases and other things like that much quicker in life. This is due to the terrible heat indexes and the poor air pollution. Last, we have the political divide. Global warming divides our country heavily. Republicans generally don't believe in global warming. I have someone in my family who does not believe in global warming. He comes with the argument that he does not believe our government and the scientists that are conducting these researches, and many Republicans tend to agree with this. And even if they do believe in global warming, they tend not to take extreme they tend not to take extreme actions against it to prevent this from happening. Well, on the other hand, we have the right wing. They do believe in global warming generally, and they take greater precautions against global warming to try and stop it, as they see the terrible effects that it has on our country. According to pewsearch.org, they have conducted research that shows over 70% of Democrats believe in global warming to an extreme extent, while only 15% of extreme Republicans do believe in global warming. Also, only 15% of Republicans believe the scientists that are conducting these researches. This causes great divide in our country, as we are not able to find any solutions to any problems that we have in our country. Now that we have taken a swim in, is climate change really heating up our Earth? The economic effects behind global warming, the health effects that it gives to us, and the political divide it causes in our country, it's time for me to dry off and head back to 2045, where there's no hope for me, as global warming has already destroyed all of these 4 points. But there is hope for you. So start taking precautions to protect your Earth, your future, and your children's future. Thank you.